The Similarity of Words, the Confusion of Ideas, by Juan Donoso Cortes, first published July 1st, 1837. In times of revolt and civil discord, when the customary rights of the nation are treaded upon, passions are inflamed, the bonds of society are weakened, and moral sentiments perverted. The disturbance of spirits produces an analogous disturbance in actions that spreads like a contagious disease. It occurs simultaneously in ideas, in the acts which they sponsor, and in the words which express them. Consequently, in these bitter days of deceit and vertigo, ideas are anarchical, the acts which they sponsor are monstrous, and the language in which they are expressed is barbarous and corrupt. When societies reach this point of degradation and abasement, they regress to the primitive chaos. In the world of acts, disorder reigns, and in the world of ideas, confusion and falsehood reign. Such is the sad and lamentable spectacle which history offers us when nations subjected to revolution pass before our eyes. The most notable symptom of this period consists in a complete change in the signification of words, in the existence of two dictionaries, of two idioms, which, even if they appear to be identical, are contradictory or at least different. One of these is the dictionary of the demagogues. The other is the dictionary of the people. In the dictionary of the people, words are taken in their popular meaning, in the sense proper to them, for this usage is consecrated by all men in all countries, in all ages. In the dictionary of the demagogues, the same words take on a different meaning, a sense which is not proper to them, which is not sanctioned by all men, in permanent contradiction to their ideas, which introduces disorder into the moral world and rejects the conscience of the human species as absurd. Thus, in periods of revolution, when people demand liberty, they ask for what the word signifies in their dictionary, a dictionary they learned through oral tradition from past generations. In this dictionary, the word liberty is synonymous with the word justice. When the demagogues proclaim liberty, they proclaim what this word signifies in their dictionary, what this word signifies in the idiom of the initiated, understood only by them, and sacred like that of the priests of India. In this dictionary, in this idiom, the word liberty does not contain any notion of justice. It signifies the all-encompassing and consequently tyrannical domination of everyone by the initiated, the exclusive triumph of a system formulated a priori, aside from historical and traditional systems. It signifies the breaking of all laws, the subversion of all institutions, the leveling of all obstacles, and the suppression of all resistance. The existence of this dictionary would not be fatal if the people could understand its hidden meaning and decipher its deceptive character. It would then be handed over to the flames. The initiated, having lost the mystery of initiation, would be mocked by the people, and their voices would not be powerful enough to move the popular masses. Finally, their influence would vanish before the light, like the malevolent influence of a spell yields to the power of an incantation. But this is not what happens in times of disorder and revolution. Since the people are anxious for liberty, having suffered long years under the yoke of an ignominious servitude, they ingenuously follow the demagogue, who advocates for liberty most ardently. The identity of the spoken word strikes their ears. They think they are following their liberators when they are following their tyrants. They believe that they would obtain the justice which they have not obtained from the despots, not realizing that the new yoke oppresses their neck, and that despotism resides in the heart of the demagogue as it does in the heart of kings. However, between these two despotisms, there is a difference. Kings derive theirs from God and call it by its name. The demagogues call theirs liberty and derive it from the people. Kings oppress and lie. Demagogues oppress, lie, and deceive. The people are prepared to fight those who admit their despotism, deriving their legitimacy from the divine will, as people abhor the despot and his despotism. But when they are faced with the despotism of demagogues, their hearts lack bitterness, their breasts lack shields, and their arms lack swords, because the demagogues call their despotism liberty and adorn themselves with the holy name of the people. How could the people have bitterness, shields, and swords against those who invoke their idol and their name? The people know how to fight monsters and tame tigers. But how shall they tame those monsters who, while lacerating their limbs with tiger claws, lull their senses with siren songs? Royal tyranny is less deadly in its horrific nakedness than demagogic tyranny clothed in deceptive finery. The phenomenon which we are describing here is present in the history of all revolutions. Let us turn our eyes on a neighboring nation destined by Providence to give lessons to the world. When France, having seen the century of Louis XIV's empire, found herself without her great king, great captains, and great century, she discovered with horror that she had bowed down before a despotism lacking glory. The philosophers revealed their misfortunes, and France wept over her miseries. Monopoly made industry impossible. Ecclesiastical and civil amortization made work useless. The pride of a corrupt and lazy nobility condemned the people to a shameful helotism, and the nobility, viewing the helots, lulled themselves asleep amid the pleasure and delights of a haughty and depraved court. France then raised a loud and terrible voice, and asked for liberty from her kings. Liberty, in the dictionary of the people, signified justice, and in asking for justice, they were asking for nothing more than the satisfaction of their grievances. They asked for the expansion of industry, opportunities for wealth, and equality for taxpayers. Finally, for France, they asked a place in the political scenario proportionate to her greatness. The demagogues then crawled up from the slime and offered the people the liberty they desired. The people believed the demagogues and called them generous friends and valiant defenders. What did these valiant defenders and generous friends do for the people? The people asked for the suppression of arbitrary imprisonment. The demagogues gave them the revolutionary tribunals. The people asked for the abolition of monopolies. The demagogues monopolized power in the name of the people. The people asked for openings for wealth. The demagogues isolated France from the markets of Europe and the ports of nations. The people asked for an equal distribution of taxes. The demagogues confiscated the goods of the working people and distributed the plundered wealth to the begging rabble. The people asked for a reputable throne and a king who tendered justice. The demagogues gave them a guillotine for a throne and an executioner for their king. Finally, the people asked for happiness and repose. The demagogues gave them war and horrors. How can this revolution be explained, replete with scandals and pregnant with crimes? Were the people accomplices? Must posterity hurl its anathema upon this unhappy people, who lifted up a head dripping with blood on the scaffold? The people were not accomplices in such scandalous crimes. The people were victims, not executioners. The people asked for liberty, and the demagogues gave it to them. In the dictionary of the demagogues, the word liberty is synonymous with despotism and force, while in the dictionary of the people, it is synonymous with reparation and justice. The demagogues know how to read the dictionary of the people. but the people do not know how to read the dictionary of the demagogues. Believing that the same words signify identical things, the people embrace the demagogues as brothers, but the demagogues slew them as assassins. Such is the history of the French Revolution, the history of all the revolutions, and the key which explains its existence also explains its end. The people, seeking liberty, see themselves subjected to the harshest servitude. While seeking a bed of repose, they see themselves drowning in a sea of blood. The people who realize that those so-called liberators are executioners reject liberty as a vain illusion and justice as a vain title. The only reality is despotism. All else is falsehood. The people then seek a tyrant and find one. Caesar will put Rome in chains, and Rome will be his friend. Napoleon will put France in chains, and France will crown him with laurels. Poor France. Poor Rome. Poor people.